Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just Me. Today we got a special guest, and she'll introduce herself in a minute. But we talked about boundaries in the last episode, and this episode we're going to talk about the levels of transparency. So there's levels to this, and we're going to dive into some examples, from personal experience that kind of goes through the different levels of transparency that we have when it comes to different people. So without further ado, I'll introduce my esteemed guest. We have Jasmin here. Jasmin, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Miss Jasmin Jones.
All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Originally from California, moved out here to Texas about 3 years ago. And just working and enjoying life.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, happy to have you on the show. Appreciate you coming out.
I would have to say it's about time.
I know. But now that you're here, we've got some questions to dive into. So I want to talk about, we're talking about this whole season is vulnerability or transparency and vulnerability, right?
Yes.
So we've looked at different aspects of it when it comes to friendships, families, parents specifically, and then siblings, and then also the community side of things. So first of all, I want to ask you this question about transparency.
Okay.
So when did you really begin to feel like transparency was a thing?
A thing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. I would have to say probably when I started dating.
Okay.
So when you date, you have to be vulnerable.
Right,
you have to be
right.
open. You have to get to know that person.
Okay.
And so that's when you start to kind of unravel some things and just start sharing your life.
But what gives you the cue, right? So we know that, for you to be transparent or for you to feel like it's a vulnerable space.
Yeah.
You have to feel comfortable, right?
Correct.
You have to feel like it's a safe space where you can actually be yourself.
Yes.
Like what are some of the cues or the signs that you look for when it comes to, okay, I see those so I can start opening up more of myself?
Well, there's a level of trust. So you got to but that comes with the more that you get to know that person.
Okay.
So just conversation, really.
All right. So the more conversation you have, the more comfortable you'll feel.
Yeah.
When it comes to transparency. Okay.
Yeah, because then you're starting to get comfortable with that person. You're starting to share a lot more, being open, and the more comfortable that you feel, the more that you'll share. Because then at that point, you'll feel a safe space. You'll feel safe.
Okay.
So
let's I'm gonna throw a scenario out there and you tell me.
Yes,
all right?
Yes.
All right. So say you met someone and then you're starting to feel this level of, I feel comfortable. We've had a lot of conversations. I feel like it could be safe. Now, do you think that at some point in time you start rationalizing what should have been red flags versus?
Oh God, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah. Red flags.
Yeah. Transparency and red flags.
So how do you distinguish them?
Yeah. Like how does that process work for you? Like if you're in it.
Yeah.
And you feel your mind starting to rationalize, well, maybe this isn't a red flag. Maybe it looks like a red flag, but it's not. Like, how do you start being transparent with yourself?
Ooh.
So even starting with yourself before even looking at being transparent with someone else, how does that happen?
You'll know. You should know yourself well enough to... You'll just know, and it's a feeling, and you'll just be like, that doesn't sit right with me. That don't,
trust the gut.
I don't trust that gut feeling, that intuition, and that's where we normally go wrong is we ignore it. We ignore those
Talk
red flags.
mercy.
And
Mercy.
I'm sure you've done it too.
Mercy. Then we hit the red light and you're like, man, where did this come?
Yep.
Yeah.
But you'll know it. You'll know it.
So then if we talk about
Yeah.
being transparent with ourselves first, right?
Yeah.
So even before we look at the relationship side of things, if we talk about being transparent, you know, for ourselves,
Yeah.
like what type of introspection? Like to me, it would seem like I have to be willing to strip away my view of myself in order for me to really be transparent.
But for some people, that could be a hard thing. Some people, they could have had bad relationships, bad experiences, and they put up a wall. So when it comes to that transparency, it's kind of hard for them to even be transparent with another person. It could be that they're not real with themselves or the trauma that's within. And so they can't give that to you. It's a block.
Absolutely. I agree. And when we talk about trauma and transparency, we've touched a little bit on it in some of the other episodes. But, you know, I know that we've all met people, whether it's ourselves or others. Everybody has some level of trauma, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's things that we've seen, things that we've experienced, environments that we've been in, there's some level of trauma that has happened. So how do we shift the mentality of being bound by that trauma versus I don't have to live where this trauma is? I can actually take steps towards healing when it comes to that.
That's if you want it or you're ready to do the work.
Mercy.
It doesn't come easy.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Do the work. And it starts with you, to be honest. I feel like we all should at least do our part, you know, as far as working on ourselves. And I know for me, if I am I've got all these issues and I'm just jacked up, I don't want to be in a relationship to kind of put that on another person and we just be jacked up together. You know, it's not going to be too good, you know. So I'd rather just work on me and what I got to work on. Not saying that I'm perfect in any way, because you're not going to be perfect. There's some stuff that you can work on that a relationship can actually help out with. But for the most part, just knowing you, wanting to be ready, understanding it, you know.
All right. So then if we're talking about the introspection, right? The looking at yourself, and starting with you. When we talk about trauma, we talk about the impacts, and you made a statement there about wanting to, like you have to want to do it.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that statement is, well, maybe not crazy, but interesting thing about that statement is I've had a few people since the podcast has started. I've had a few people who have shared things with me, and it's from a place of trauma, whether they've experienced it from a friend, from a relationship, or family. They've shared how, you know, one of the hardest things was for them to acknowledge that trauma even existed, because sometimes they would actually, they were sharing how they just blocked it out. Like it was so traumatic for them at growing up that it's almost like they deleted it from their memory.
Wow.
And the only way it really came up was it manifested in a relationship.
Isn't that something? Because I was going to say like, was it something that they just didn't know?
Well, they knew.
They knew.
But it was so traumatic for them that they locked it away.
They blocked it away.
Yeah. So they built the defense of telling themselves it didn't happen until they were in a relationship where that trigger was set off, and it was almost like an eruption of feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
That were that it was locked away for such a long time.
Yeah.
That it just exploded. The other person's just like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah. And that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's more common these days. It sure is a thing.
So how do you, if you're in, let's even just talk about friendships first, right? So if you're in a friendship with individuals who have had that deep-seated trauma, like, how do you think we can be there for them? Because I know that, especially if we're talking about church, right?
Mhm.
We don't always say the best things. We're well intentioned, right?
For yourself, CJ. No,
we're well intentioned, right?
Yeah,
We're like,
for
yeah,
sure.
I'm praying for you, or you're praying for me.
Yeah.
But I may be getting beaten, but I'm praying for you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's just like, the words that you're trying to be there and support for issue to support someone.
Yeah.
It may not always be the right words that they're looking at. And sometimes it's hard to parse. Okay, you have well intentions. I know you don't mean it in that way. You're trying to say something nice.
Right.
And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So when I was going through my divorce, one of the things, people would say, one of the things that people would say to me was, oh man, it's going to be all right. Don't worry.
Oh,
the Lord
my gosh.
will comfort you.
Yeah.
There's someone out there. Don't worry, and this and that. And it's like in that moment, I know you mean well. I knew they meant well, but it's like in that moment, I'm like, listen, I'm not thinking about anything outside of that. What I'm thinking about is the hurt and the emotional valley of ups and downs that I'm dealing with right now. I'm not thinking about when you get over that hill or anything else.
It's the same thing like when people die.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. That type of thing. It's like, they just died. Yeah, I get it. So how can we be there for that friend?
Yeah.
Even then, as a friend, you have to have that or have gained that comfortability around them.
Yeah.
And so I would say for me, for my friend, I would be real.
Yeah.
So we both have to have that that openness, that connection.
Right.
And so the more that I'm open with her, she'll start to become open with me.
Right.
And so she's already, because trauma, right? Yeah. That's a huge thing.
It is.
So, and even to tell of your trauma, you just can't. You just don't tell that to anybody.
No. Yeah.
You just don't tell that to anybody. And so even if I was to tell, like, not even tell situations of mine, but if I just was to let her have that safe space with me, just let her know that, hey, this is you and I.
Right.
We good. I ain't going to say anything, and just build upon that. She'll start to come around and she'll start sharing things. And you'll know that within your own friendships, people will start sharing things with you. The more you're around them, the more that you talk to them, the more that you're open with them, and then they'll start to unfold as well. And I think that's just the beginning. Yeah. It's really, like we just mentioned this whole time, it's just that safe space, that comfortability.
Absolutely. So if we're talking about, there's levels to this.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So that means that the initial to start that level of transparency and vulnerability, you have to invest your vulnerability and transparency into that person. So by opening up and you being transparent and vulnerable with that individual, it allows there to be that safe environment where that person can eventually feel safe enough to share some of their areas of truth.
Because if I tell you something very personal of me, then you'll be like, okay, let me tell you something, and vice versa. So you'll start to open up for sure.
Yeah. And I think what happens specifically maybe in a church setting, right? So we look at the church as a hospital, but the interesting thing about looking at the church as a hospital, and the church is a hospital. I love it. It's healing, all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But some individuals look at that. Some patients within the hospital don't look at that as a hospital, but they look at it as a ward where everyone is healed. So their level of where they feel they may be in terms of their journey
Uh-huh.
tends to be looked down on, or they tend to look down on
Mercy.
individuals that may not have reached
Mercy.
that quote unquote level that they've set for themselves.
Ooh.
So when we talk about safe spaces and sharing certain things,
Yes.
there's a transition between what is gossip
Ooh.
and then what is actually
Talk on
sharing with an individual that genuinely
Cares, right.
about what you're going through, your
Right.
hurts, your trauma, your vulnerability, that
Right.
space,
Yeah.
so that they can actually support you.
Yeah.
So when we think about it from a church perspective, like, is it hard for you to kind of look at some individuals because, it can be determining whether it's gossip or more so genuine concern? Is it hard for you to really see or to make a judgment call when it comes to certain types of individuals, or how do you approach it?
No, I kind of think you'll know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna speak for myself.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I could read people pretty well.
Okay.
And I could tell whether it's genuine or not.
Yeah.
I think that's just something anybody can pick up. Well, I'll just stick to speaking for myself. I'm gonna say anybody. There may be those, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can tell.
You can tell.
Yeah.
So is it by, kind of, do you test the waters? Do you like share a little bit of information?
I don't be going out like that. Like
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna I'll be surface. I'm not gonna share everything, especially if I don't know you that well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna give you everything,
Yeah.
I'll just be me, but
Okay.
I'll just tell you the surface stuff. But if we, become friends along the way or start hanging out and stuff, and I get to see you and how you are, and again, if I feel comfortable enough and you feel that safe space, you can tell.
Right.
You can tell with people if they're being fake or not, if they got an agenda or not, if it's just gossip or not.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you're right. It comes over time, right?
Yeah.
So the more wisdom that you gave, the more people that you encounter, the more experiences that you have,
for sure,
it kind of helps you regulate your scale of, okay, these type of individuals generally fall into this realm. So I gotta be cautious here.
Yeah. Because if you say after church, I was invited to somebody's house for dinner,
right? And
we're just conversating, and then some folks start gossiping. Then I'll be like, I know not to tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, like stuff you can catch so easily. You're just like, I'm good. I'll just keep it surface.
Mental note, file that away. Right. Not sitting at this table, not sharing anything here.
Exactly. So, I mean, the more you are around people, you'll start to know what type of character that they are.
So that means, though, that you have to be around people.
Yeah, for sure.
So when we're talking about introverts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had Murnell on as a guest here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about the different types of individuals.
Yeah.
Like I'm an extreme introvert when it comes to, I'm just an extreme introvert.
Like
it takes a lot. I get that, which is crazy, but I mean, it takes a lot out of me to be outgoing. Like I have to turn it on and off.
What?
Like
I would have never known.
Oh man, let me tell you, I was sharing with Akila on the last episode that's going to come out later. I was sharing with her how when my name was on the list to be on the pulpit.
Yeah.
Oh man, like a month in advance, like I would see the schedule.
Yeah.
And every day that brought me, I could be a month out, but every day that brought me closer, I would be sweating. I would be panicked. I would be terrified. And it was like,
wow.
and then when it came to the night before,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Oh, it was a wrap.
I thought I was going to pass out.
Wow. Because I would have been able to tell when you're on stage. I wouldn't have been able to tell.
Oh my goodness.
Look, what's your secret?
The levels of prayer that happened.
Oh, it's prayer. Okay.
From the time that I, like in the morning, even when I was putting on my suit in the morning to go to church.
Yeah.
And my shirt is drenched because I'm sweating. Because I'm like, have mercy, Lord. Like, why? Why can anyone else get up there and talk?
Oh, wow.
And then when it's me,
yeah,
I'm sweating like I feel like I went through slavery just to get to this point where I could say something, right? But I was telling her that it wasn't until like I made a deal with God. I was like one day it just broke me. I was like, Lord, I promise if you take away this anxiety, then I won't say no when it comes to that. And as soon as I got up off my knees, it's like a peace came over me, and I've never had that anxiety since then.
Look at God.
Like it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and a matter of fact, after that, I started to look forward to it. Like I would be counting. I'm like, man, where am I on this schedule?
Really?
Yeah,
this is not the CJ we used to know.
Man, who you telling? So when we talk about the level of anxiety or introverts, right? When it comes to transparency. Now, it took me for me, what I would do is I would put feelers out. So I could be having a conversation, even though so say you and I, right?
Yeah.
Like even if I felt like I could trust you.
Yeah.
Like what I would do is I would start out with some little things that aren't really.
Oh, you're testing me.
Depth. Exactly.
Okay.
Because I need to know.
Okay.
If
I can trust you or not.
Facts. Yeah. I need to know if I'm going to get burned or if this is like a true, genuine person who cares about what I'm trying to share with them.
Correct.
Because it's taken a lot for me to even get to the point of sharing, right?
Yeah.
So if you get to that point where you feel like you have to share, then the fear of what could happen.
I mean, do you have to share?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you can't internalize things forever, right? Like you need a community.
Well, yeah.
You need a community, right?
Yes.
So having kind of that safe space where you can talk to different people about stuff is important.
So that kind of helped you come out of that introvert.
In those little surface stuff,
right? Of the testers.
So you throw that tester out there, and if it doesn't come back, then you're like, all right, you know what? I can move to the next level.
Okay.
Now you get L2. L2 is.
I can't. Okay.
But that's how my mind works, right?
Yeah.
Because if I know I can trust you at L1, that means I can go a little deeper because I know this person's genuinely caring about what I'm sharing. So when we're talking about transparency and understanding like the different gauges of where you fall.
Yes.
That's kind of how I approach it, right or wrong. I mean, that's how I approach it.
No, but that's you. That's how you approach it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give no testers. It is what it is, you know. I mean.
You're just going to go out, you be like, hey, I feel it. Here.
And also, too, the type of person I am, I do share a lot. Okay. But to a certain extent. Like, again, I have to be able to trust you.
Right.
Like, I know my limits. I'm just not going to meet you for the first time and tell you my whole life.
Yeah. You mean you're not going to be like, hello, my name is, hey, let me tell you what happened like 10 years ago.
No. But yeah. And I feel like the more that you like are around that person, hang out with that person, you get to know them a lot more and gain that comfortability, you know? Yeah.
So what when it comes to let's talk about I know we prayed about it in church. You okay talking about it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about illness.
Yes.
Now, different people feel, differently about sharing details or sharing about illness because they feel like it may be private or something like that. Did you, for a moment, take pause in sharing, your situation, or was it more so like, no, I trust the church family, so I'm going to share?
Yeah, no. No, not at all. So when I found out about my illness, I actually told my whole family knows, because I'm comfortable with my family. So family knows. I told a few of my close friends, only close friends, and then that was pretty much it. It was actually my father. So he's the one that talked to Pastor Bird. Then he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, yeah, so we're going to pray for you." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "But are you okay with that?" Well, you don't know what he said. So, I mean, I don't mind. I did not mind the church knowing. But at first I was just kind of like, oh, a lot of people watch, like everybody's gonna know, and I don't know how I felt about that. That's just where I was at. But my dad he made a good point. He was like, no, you need all the prayer that you can get, and I was like, you were so right. I really do. So I went with it, And let me tell you, CJ, I did not know how much I was loved by the church.
Mercy.
I hope I don't get choked up. But I am so glad that my dad did do that. That the church knew and that they were able to pray for me.
Yeah.
I was so loved. I had so many people just... I just felt the love. And sometimes I don't even know the words to say. I don't know how to express how I feel because I'm so overwhelmed with just so much love. And I was just like, that's what I needed the most from my church family. And I just did not know how much they loved me. I had, Pastor, he put on, or he said, I want this food drive, for Jazz, and let me tell you, I've been so blessed with that. So many people has donated, to this, and I don't know how much to say. When I say I don't know the words to say because I'm so overwhelmed with so much joy. There was a couple from Missouri. Don't know these people. Couple from Missouri who donated, and I was like, God, this is God.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how much I needed, and it helped so much, CJ. So, man, those who are watching, thank you. If you helped in any way. And just, continued prayers. Sorry, I didn't think I'd get choked up.
Oh, no.
But this is what? Vulnerability, right? And this is what we're talking about. To do this podcast with you, CJ, is such a blessing. At first, I was just like, yeah. I think we should do a group podcast. I'm like, let folk talk. I'll throw my 2 cents in when I need to, But honestly, this has just been amazing. Thank you. And just, I've gained that comfortability with you. Here we are in a podcast. Even the people, CJ, whether you know it or not, the people who come on your podcast, there's a type of vulnerability that has to be done. Yes?
No, you're right.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
So.
Jazz.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Don't start doing that. Don't let the waterworks come down.
I know.
No, I'm just but
okay.
It's that's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Because for you to share where you were, right? And to receive the support that you've received and to hear you talk about that support.
Yeah.
Many times people don't know the level of support because it's always at some time where they've passed. But to be able to receive and to feel that level, and I could feel the emotion as you were talking about it, right? How it made you feel, how you still feel, right? Just seeing all of that pour in. It's man, I tell you, it's something that is unique, where the Lord knows exactly what you need when you need it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the random people,
And I
right?
didn't even know I needed it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
random people that are placed in, because I straight up, let me tell you, I love supporting people. Like my divorce, the feelings that I felt through it, it led me to feel a different level of empathy for people being on the outside of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it comes to loss, when it comes to people who have experienced different illnesses or different things, like there's a different, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like my heart is more feeling for it, feeling for them, wanting to support, wanting to reach out, wanting to check in.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that have experienced their own scenarios, right? And it's because they've had those experiences.
What do they say? You can't have a testimony without a test, right?
Yes.
And boy, I tell you, like just me sharing my story, I know can help a lot of people, you know? And even just within that, I had so many people come up to me who were like, cancer survivors, you know, there's like, I'm 3-time survivor, you know, and just telling me their stories, and it's, you know, it really touches the heart. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, but I'm good, CJ. I wear a smile on my face because I know God's in control.
That's right.
That's all it is.
That's right.
That's all it is.
And you got the prayers of everybody.
I do. And I need them. This is my first rodeo, and I'm when I first found out, I was like, what? I'm too young. But you know. But yeah, it's all good.
And you know, the Lord again puts random people. So my parents are both cancer survivors.
What?
Both.
Did not know this.
Yes. My mom actually just went for her last 6-month check. Was it a couple weeks ago? And the doctor was like, yeah, no, we can now shift it to a year and do a yearly check versus
it
used to be every 3 months.
Yeah.
Every 3 months. Then it went to 6 months. And now she hasn't seen any within years now, a few years. And so they moved it to a year check. Okay. So when we talk about, like you said, tests and testimonies, like when my mom first found out, her immediate thing was, I need to talk to Jasmin. I need to talk to Jasmin. It's like, Mom.
Yes, we need to talk. I had no idea. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So she was like, I just need to hug her and talk to her.
Yes.
She's so nice. I just want her to know that we love her.
Yes. And that helps me so much. You just don't know, CJ. It helps me so much. And that's why I'm glad it was so, because leave it to me, nobody would know. I go be going to church every Saturday, so nobody know what's going on, you know. But you know, I'm praise God that it happened the way that it did, because I needed it. I really did, and didn't even know I needed it. God works.
Yes, He does.
Yeah.
So how did you feel just opening up, talking about it right now?
I'm over it. Nah, CJ, it's all good with me. Yeah. I need all the prayers I can get. God is good. I can now just open up, and it is what it is. Yeah. It's out there now, so that's it. You can't take it back.
No. Like, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm fine, because it opens up the door for other people who's been through similar, you know, and can help me a lot. You know, because if I would have been dealing with it on my own had I not said anything. You know, but I had so many people who just reached out to me. You know, was encouraging, shared a lot of their stories, and from what I've heard, a lot worse. I know if they can do it. I know I can do it, and the God that I serve.
That's right. Come on,
you know.
Come on, now.
So I'm good with it. It is what it is at this point.
Hey, that's the faith we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the faith that allows you to be able to say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for real. It really does. And that's one of the things I did a vision board for the year, and that was one of the things was trust God.
And that was long before, right?
Exactly. Long before I even knew.
Yeah.
That's what I put on my vision board. Trust God.
Yeah.
And so then my thing is, now that I know I have this, why pray and then worry?
Come on now.
Isn't that where my trust comes in?
Come on now. Don't be preaching sermons. Go on, preach that sermon.
So I was like, I don't know, Lord, is this my test? You know? So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to trust it. So I did not once say, like, when I found out, I did not once say, why me?
Yeah.
Why me? It is what it is, you know? Maybe it's before a reason, but I know the Lord's going to see me through it.
Right.
So I already prayed my prayer. It is what it is. And I don't worry about it. I let God take care of it, you know? But as human, I have my times where you know, but I always pick myself back up.
Right.
I know who God is, and I know He got me. So
that's right. And you know, I was listening to a pastor. I like Randy Skeet. Randy Skeet said in a sermon, and I hadn't really thought about it in this way because I don't really ask why me, but more so I'm like, Lord, what is going on?
Yeah.
When I'm in the midst of it, going through it, approaching it, all of that, it's like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, come on. Have mercy, right?
Yeah, I feel it.
But one thing he said was, sometimes the things that happen to us aren't even for us.
Oh.
But they're for people who are watching us.
Ooh.
And I started to think, and that actually reset my perspective on things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, no matter what I've been through going up and down, no matter what we go through, right? There are always people who are watching for the evidence of who we really are. And so when we hold true and we hold strong to our promises and our faith and what God has told us, even in the midst of what looks like a daunting hill, right?
Yeah.
Or uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then to them, it's like, well, you know, if they can be unmoved, then what does that mean for me? That means I can hold hope. I can look at this. Like, how are they able to do this?
Yeah.
Where are they tapping into to get that strength?
Right.
But it's an encouragement to those who may be suffering in silence.
Wow.
And so them watching what you're going through, your testimony, you specifically right now, your testimony is going to have an effect on people that will be far reaching, more than you'll ever know.
I believe that. Because I believe this is my testimony, and that me being able to share it will help those who are suffering in silence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the levels of transparency that we have, right?
Yeah.
It allowed you to feel once shared with the congregation, with your church family.
Yes.
It allowed you to feel comfortable enough to receive all of the love and support that was given to you.
Yeah.
And so I first of all, I want to thank you for coming on the show here and talking and being open to talk about this, and then just what transparency really means.
And being transparent.
That's right. Because again, your testimony is going to shake the world, right?
Yeah.
People who are going through it, or who may be not even going through it right now, but they may go through it in the future.
Mercy.
And have the opportunity to reference back to, well, Jasmin went through this. Here she is. I know I can tap into the strength. What strength did she get? Oh, from God?
From God.
Yeah. Maybe I need to look into this.
It's amazing, right?
It is.
God knows what he's doing.
He does.
He knows what he's doing. And I don't question it.
I know that's right.
Just gonna go with it.
So we talked about different levels. We talked about things from relationships to family, and now to transparency when it comes to illness.
Mhm.
So again, going back to the topic for today was the
Mhm.
levels of transparency. Right? There's
Mhm.
levels to this.
Yeah.
So if you were to have the audience walk away with one thing or just whatever takeaway that you would have for them, what would it be?
I would say share your story,
Mhm.
whatever that may be, open up, let them know, because it could be, like CJ said, to be able to help somebody else.
Mhm.
So you never know. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
could help somebody else. So definitely share your story.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Jazz, again, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah.
I definitely want to have
Thank you for
back so we
having
can
me.
talk a little further. We'll talk about the testimony after. the
Oh,
surgery.
yes. Praise God. Yes, indeed.
But it's for those of you out there too, you don't have to feel alone. The whole purpose of this podcast is really to build a community of people who understand trauma, pain, hurt, and want healing. There are many people who suffer in silence because they don't feel confident or comfortable enough to reach out to anyone and have a conversation. But also, even when I think back to going through the depression after or during and after the divorce, I wanted isolation. So I isolated myself from people. And in doing so, it prolonged the healing that I could have gotten. But I would watch different things on YouTube that would speak to what I was going through. And that little by little was able to encourage me. And that's why I feel that this platform is one that should address transparency and vulnerability and be an open book, because you never know the impact that you will have on someone else's life just by you saying what you're going through, by sharing your experience. You may be the difference between life and death for an individual who may be struggling, like really struggling, battling with what their next step is or what they might do because they feel like something is hopeless. But hearing your story, hearing your hope and your approach to things could shift the balance of their life. And so that's what this platform is really meant to do. It's meant to address those things, bring some awareness to trauma, bring awareness to the positivity of being transparent and vulnerable, but also to create more pockets of safe space. That's actually why I named the network what I did, Safe Space Network. The whole idea is to bring programs that allow people to feel safe, a safe environment for healing. So I want to thank you for joining this episode. Look forward to the next episode. I want to thank Jasmin again for being our guest on Safe Space Network and Just Me on the podcast. Looking forward to the testimony post-surgery. I'm super excited about hearing about your journey and supporting you through this as well. Until next time, like, subscribe, and check back because we'll be dropping videos quite often now. We have a few episodes that we've recorded, and you'll see and hear some interesting things over the next few weeks on transparency and vulnerability, different subtopics. So join again. Thank you so much. Take care.